We're Embracing Suck 21 if you're new
Yes,
here.
we are.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Daniel.
At the time of this release, we have officially jailbroken all episodes of Father Ted from Patreon onto YouTube, and we are wrapping it up here with both the Ardell Hannon stand-up, either the day before this or day after this, haven't decided yet. What y'all have been throwing at us in the comments is Small, Far Away, which is like the Father Ted documentary. And, you know, we love us our docs on Saturdays, so that's what we're going to do now.
I think it's a great way to kill two birds with one stone, really.
Yes.
And plus, we get our last little fix of Father Ted.
Exactly.
You know?
One last hoorah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you ready to go in, Dan?
Oh, yeah, man, always. Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
It captured a kind of Irishness, Irish humour. It's more than that, but a kind of specific Irish humour that you'd rarely see on screen.
It was sweet and funny and ridiculous. Just a bad dream, Your Grace.
I'm Graham, by the way. We wrote it.
Did you ever see Father Ted? Did you ever see that programme?
Great. Great being Dougal 25 times.
The impact of it doesn't seem to have sort of faded in any way from what I can see.
You bastards!
I liked hitting Dermot on the head with a hammer.
Where your mind goes blank because of, your head has just been frozen.
The man himself. Wonderful.
It was always good. It ended good. We stopped it before people got sick of it. You can't really ask for anything better, you know?
I'm already getting nostalgia just from that little bit there. Just, having watched it, reacted to it, and going back and re-editing everything to scrape it through the YouTube copyright filters.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love it.
you've watched it a lot more times than I have.
Right.
Because you had to edit all that shit. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, but it's nice. It's a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then just from this first minute alone, it's proving again that it's a timeless classic.
Yep. I like that he said we didn't overstay our welcome. Like, gee, that's exactly what that show did.
Yeah.
It just went off the way it was supposed to, on a high note.
Yeah. It didn't overstay its welcome.
Nope.
Love it.
I'm trying to find the original Father Ted script in my files. I bet Arthur has it if I don't.
Irish Lives, Father Ted Crelly. Now this is interesting because it says 1990 on it, so that means we must have written it here before even Graham had gone to London.
It's actually the original script that led to Father Ted, because Father Ted started off. It wasn't a sitcom about Ted at all. It was a documentary series about 6 different Irish characters. So Ted was just one of these.
It's a perpetually jolly and rather sad man. That's the first description of Ted, who through some terrible accident of fate has found himself in the priesthood.
Arthur understood that whole language of priests, that kind of lightness.
Good God, look at the time. I'd better be going, Ted. Oh. And you need a lift?
It was just at home, when I was a kid, there were all those priests visiting, My uncle, who was a priest, took millions of photographs, colour slides. I think that picture just sums up everything Father Ted. The spirit of Father Ted. You don't need words when, this is what Father Ted, the word of Father Ted is really.
Come on, Dougal. It's your go.
Yeah, having grown up in, obviously not in the Catholic Church, but in a evangelical church, I definitely noticed that priests were had a bit of a way they talked, the way they presented themselves, and it's very it's I would say Christ-like, but knowing a couple of them personally, yeah.
And that's where the joke lies. It's
Right.
like they're still human. And
Right.
it's funny like not funny, but it's very intriguing watching someone that is supposed to portray someone like that and realize that no, they are human and they're ridiculous just like us.
Exactly. Yeah, they're still human beings, despite the fact they're basically the link between us and God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, Claire, Ireland.
Pearls before swine.
Well, it's great to come back. I'm kind of nostalgic by nature, so I like going back to places I haven't been for a while. We'll be visiting the old haunts, the old house.
I'm kind of curious, but I'm not really a sentimentalist about things. I expect
You live in the now. In the moment.
expect to remain unmoved.
in a cold-hearted, cynical way. I'm living in London now, and I don't give a damn about this place.
So y'all tell us, which one of us is these two here?
Oh my god, I love that. This cold-hearted, cynical. Like, I don't give a damn about this place. Oh, I love that, man. Yep.
Oh my god, is that it? Whoa.
No way.
That's a boxy car. That's the most action-packed exit. This is perfect.
You're a great instant fashion, don't you, Graham?
I do, I'll be dropping in there later. The other day I checked Twitter and I checked the Father Ted hashtag to see what people were saying about it, and it's great seeing all these lines come up, you know, that mean something to people, you know. In fact, the other day I just discovered one I'd forgotten, which is John and Mary. Mary says to John, "Tit face, you've got a face like a pair of tits."
That's beautiful writing.
I think that's beautiful writing.
It's been a tremendous boost to Irish culture, I would say.
And one that's going back through the old recordings of it, you know, we recorded that January 2023. We started releasing them like July, August 2023. Yep. And I could not for the life of me remember that would be an ecumenical matter. I kept mispronouncing it.
Yeah. Ecumenical. You're like, no, I got it. I remember that because I was like, who uses that? I've got my whole life without using that. So
yeah, same here. But tit face, that's face. Genius. I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, Ted, he's probably very cold now that his towel is blown away.
Do you want tea or anything yourself? No. Do you have one of those coffees? With milk, latte, pipe, style? Yeah. You know, people will say to you, "Oh, you look like Dougal," and well, yeah. I mean, it's very hard to avoid. I think the voice is a bigger giveaway. In terms of like, you know, the impact of Father Ted as well. Like, I guess it was hard just to slip back into stand-up. You know, solely just set yourself up as a stand-up comedian again and just, you know, tour as I had been doing before that.
Well, okay. Awesome. Well,
all right.
Feast your eyes on that, guys, while we talk.
There. Okay, go ahead.
So they pulled him, or they got him off a stand-up routine.
Right.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting.
He was a stand-up before Dougal, and I guess he was a stand-up after Dougal.
As Dougal.
As Dougal. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's like, you know, some comedians like Jerry Seinfeld, like he hadn't had a lot of acting experience before Seinfeld and really didn't do too much acting afterwards. I think the only real acting he did was voice acting in B-Movie.
The B-Movie, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then, so I guess it's kind of the same-ish deal with Ardell O'Hannon.
Yeah, I know, right? Dougal. He's always, and unfortunately, he did it. It's his fault, not us. It's his fault he took an iconic role.
Yeah, he took the role. It's like to continue with the Seinfeld thing, is like George Costanza. Jason Alexander is always known as George Costanza.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Pretty
No
much.
matter what he does and whether he wants to be the KFC colonel in a few commercials, like he's still George.
Pops up on credits as George Costanza. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Oh,
much.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good for the circulation. Oh, yeah. That'll get the blood flowing. Recommend that for anybody.
I have Father Jack's teeth. These are the actual Father Jack teeth, of course. So when I put them in, it puts you into character a bit, you know?
Take off!
Gonna go down from the top with the window just
yeah,
a bit because you just fired to go, oh, smell the countryside.
The moment's passed.
Stand by, Eddie, here we go.
It's a shame Pauline's not here. I'm sure she would have plenty of insights and observations about our time together. But I kind of understand the reasons why she isn't. I think that's fair enough. I mean, she's closely identified with the Mrs. Doyle character, and as an actress, she wants to get away from that.
Just what we were saying with Father Ardell Elhanan,
right?
And Pauline, whatever her name is, Mrs. Doyle.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, okay, there's a point where you've been sort of typecast, right?
Yeah,
typecast, but there's a point where you've been not offered a bunch of roles because you've been typecast. Then there's a point where you start leaning into it, like F it. If this is who I am, this is who I effing am.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Kind of like Adam Sandler in all of his movies.
Yeah.
He leans into who he is.
Leans into it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's unfortunate because I think she would have added a lot of insight. But yeah, like he said, I understand. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I've seen in the recommended feeds a few interviews with Pauline, whatever her name is, and I think we'll watch that on our own time. Won't do a reaction to it.
No.
That
All this wealth of material and photos. Yeah, there was a wonderful innocence about Dougal and Father Ted that kind of made them very endearing. And there he is, the man himself. Wonderful. I've never seen kicking Bishop Ben up the arse. I've never watched it. I see it in shop windows, and at home you go through the room, it's on, and I've been on planes when it's on, but I've never actually sat down and watched it because I find that too painful.
Oh.
Because we had such fun doing it. It was just such a blast, and I think he had a great career ahead of him when he sadly left us. It's great that he's still there in terms of audiences, who have yet to discover Father Ted. Because it was, I think, one of the great comedy performances.
Yeah, he's right. Like, I think I would get emotional, knowing all the great times he had, even though the two characters themselves absolutely hated each other. The actors, had a love for one another.
Yeah.
And, like, I can understand how you would get emotional, but, like, dude, he was 45, 46 when Dermot Morgan passed. Damn,
that's crazy, man. Like, and yeah, to your point, especially when death is like sudden and unexpected, it's just like those, and always, it's always on. You can see your friend any time of day.
Yeah,
you can just pop in reruns and watch them.
Right,
and that's crazy. I mean, I feel like it might help with the grieving process, but at the same time, it like lengthens it as well.
Yeah.
Because he can truly never feel gone if he's always in front of you.
Right. He's on your screen, and your brain is processing that your friend is in front of you.
Yeah.
But you also know he's not.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. thinking.
Well, we'd come here usually in kind of November, and we do the stuff outside the house. We'd be here. I mean, one series was 10 episodes, one series was 6, one was 8. So, 2 weeks to 3 weeks we'd be here.
Caravan park.
I think it's somewhere around.
What?
I think it's somewhere around here.
You said it was the one at the end.
There it is, Ted, look, it's huge!
Calm down. We're here, Father.
Take off.
Do you know what was filmed here? Do you know where we filmed it?
You filmed it a bit back there where the bench is. There.
Really?
Yeah.
Father Ted, we watched him many a day.
What, you actually saw it being shot?
We did, yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Good Lord.
Wow.
We have a mobile home on the side, so
Oh, I see.
we remember the old one, the small little one
The
that
old
they
one
had
was
here, the one that
here.
they rocked from side to side.
Did it tip over? I forget. Did
It did, yes,
We
they
did,
tipped it
yeah.
over,
That's
yes.
right, that's right.
Yes,
So you saw it being
we
done,
saw it
that's
all being
amazing.
filmed here.
There's probably no one in Ireland who hasn't seen an episode or loves everything about it. That dog, he probably loves it. Did you ever see Father Ted? Did you ever see that program?
I remember when we were first checking out Father Ted, and I looked into the comments of like S1E1, and it was something along the lines of someone like went to a Catholic school in Ireland, and the priest teacher, whatever, was talking about TV shows and was talking about Blackadder and how much he loved it. And eventually this person who commented asked the priest about Father Ted, and his response was, "Yes, I've seen it. Yes, I've seen it." So it's like a case of when he said everyone in Ireland has seen it, doesn't mean everyone in Ireland loved it.
Loves it. Yeah.
And yeah, so we've seen a few comments of how wrong we were about how unpopular it was in Ireland. It was very popular in Ireland.
Got it. Yeah.
But
Man.
when we were recording it for Patreon, we really weren't looking at those comment sections. We were looking at the YouTube comment sections. So
Yeah.
that's going forward with any other show we check out. We're not going to know how right or wrong we are about something until we look at the YouTube comments.
Yeah, 100%. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that sweet?
I have 2 boxes in the attic full of these tapes, and most of them are quad splits. That's a 4-way split for the studio. I've also got, from the locations, I've got the location rushes for all this stuff, VHS tapes. And I haven't had this stuff out in years.
Let's play some Scrabble. Yeah, brilliant. Did you bring the travel Scrabble? I brought the normal Scrabble and the travel Scrabble, Ted.
Yes, you can hear your voice starting to go there, can you?
Did you bring the copy of Playboy?
Because the audience can see all this and hear it, And sometimes it's good to let the audience hear that stuff. It just adds to the fun.
All right, part 2.
You just had all this time, because I wasn't involved in any of the technical aspects, to kind of come up with more gags, So it was like I remember we were in a field and we saw some cows, and that's where the near far away thing came from, Which
Maybe the most famous
which
joke.
has become the big joke of the show.
So the audience can't see that yet. That main is what the audience see. It's also interesting when as soon as you cut to it that you get a laugh. Don't worry.
5 seconds. 4, 3.
Plastic cows on a priest's table is funny. Isn't
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away.
I love the wave, when the laughter's in a wave. It takes a few seconds.
Small, far away. Forget it.
That's where it was. That's where the joke was.
Oh, I love that. Oh, man, that took me back. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
We just wanted to create this kind of odd world that was outside of everything, and then we felt that we could have a free reign. We wanted to make an Irish sitcom with all the kind of insanity of the young ones and the cleverness of Blackadder and the kind of farce elements of Faulty Towers. You know, these were the things that we grew up loving.
But also all that Irish madness.
That's what gave us our voice, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Just move it over here, so what's sick.
All right, for the record, for our YouTube audience, we've checked out 2 of those 3, Blackadder and Faulty Towers. So I could see elements of both of them in Father Ted, just knowing what the writers grew up on. We haven't seen the young ones, and people keep throwing that at us, and one day. So, gotta love that.
6 feet.
God, it's lovely out.
Craggy Island had to look bleak and remote, and the last place on earth you want to be stuck, isn't it? Guys were never into pretty. The guys were never into let's have it looking beautiful and stuff like that. It had to be a bit shit, it had to be a bit cold and damp and miserable and a place you just didn't want to hang out in for very long.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is like, if you're going to have a picnic on Craggy Island, then you want to find the most inhospitable kind of landscape you can find. So this is perfect, really. It's almost like this was Ted's best bet.
From top, is it?
And roll, please.
Great. Here we go.
It was shot, I'd say, a little bit crudely, just nature of the beast, the amount of stuff we had to get through.
This is my fucking spot. Get the fuck off.
There would be times on location when, I know the cameraman would like another 10 minutes to light it, and I go, it's not going to get any funnier. And also with the guys, they come out in the rehearsal scene in the cold. It's kind of funny. You better shoot it the next time, because you're going to make them rehearse it. By the time you shoot it, it's not going to be funny anymore. And particularly those guys, because they weren't actors, it was good the first 2 or 3 times. That's why you rarely see us going past 3 or 4 takes.
I guess Frank and Pauline had more acting experience, and myself and Dermot, we were coming from strictly a comedy background. Certainly to begin with, I wouldn't have been a very confident or assertive person. But I think I had an inner confidence, just in terms of trusting my instincts to some degree. I used to kind of zone out a bit about a half an hour before the recording and kind of become Dougal in a way, but not in any kind of, methody kind of way. It's funny, once you put on the costume, once you put on the gear, I used to become Dougal.
I suppose the surprise from someone from the outside looking in would be that actually Frank was an actor. So he had the Irish Times crossword and, all those actor-y type things.
I used to look at myself in the mirror and say, geez, who's that,
He had the pus coming out of his ears and one milky eye and stuff in his nose and odd lesions and things going on.
You didn't want to get beside Frank Kelly at breakfast after he'd been made up, because bits of these flakes would start to sort of drop off. And if they landed on your toast.
Jack is basically the kind of really evil and pleasant side of the church, the side that all our dads would have stories about being beaten up by someone like Jack, That was our little tribute to that kind of scumbag.
Mrs. Doyle, you left the cooker on.
All right, Father, I'll be there in a second.
I met this lady once.
All right, before we get to Mrs. Doyle, I've said multiple times throughout the series that, Father Jack is my dude. But, the parts when he was still a priest, no, not that part. The other parts of drink, feck, arse, girls.
Yep.
There's a short where I do that a lot better. Oh my god.
Who was talking about Ted, and she said, "There's not much for women in it, is there?" So I thought, well, yeah, there is. It's Mrs. Doyle. She's one of the best female characters in comedy.
Hello, fathers.
Hello, Mrs. Doyle.
Too often in comedies, you see female characters, and their only comic characteristic is that they're commenting on how silly the men are being. And we didn't want that. We wanted a female character who's funny in herself, who had a very strong comic personality, and that's going to be negative.
Out. Get out, Ardle. Get out, Ardle.
For Dermot, he's never had to do a script. He's never had to go out and perform a script, kind of word for word, as somebody else has written it. So the burden, if you like, of being an actor was actually quite a big one for him, you know.
Father O'Rourke has that house. Ah, fuck, sorry.
Well, we were all very sympathetic to the load that Dermot had, because Dermot had an enormous number of lines to learn, which I didn't think at the beginning he would be capable of, because he wasn't trained as an actor, he hadn't experience.
And of course, things often go wrong, as you know, and when you're doing a live show. And that's when Dermot really came into his own, because he was the master of stand-up.
During breaks in the recording or when we were going from scene to scene, he'd start messing around with the audience and everything like that. And sometimes he'd try and pull me into that, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't come out of the kind of mindset I was in, because I think it would have spoilt it for me and for the audience as well.
How to pull an altar boy, all that sort of stuff. With one finger.
Yeah, that's interesting that, you know, as a stand-up or just someone that's not trained as an actor, how you adjust to that role of learning lines and, you know, and it's recorded live. So that's kind of half of what both Dermot Morgan and Ardell O'Hannon thrive in. So that's
it's interesting. Like a lot of stand-ups aren't good actors, and a lot of actors are terrible stand-ups.
Right. It's the Venn diagram of the both of them together is quite small.
Very small, I would say.
Yeah.
I did have a bit of a comedy crush on you, though. I did. I felt giddy when you were around. Stop it. No, it's true, because you were so funny.
It was a synthesis of two different kinds of people. The kind of youthful, terrific enthusiasm of Graham, and Arthur's kind of older wisdom.
It's just a really good dynamic.
Yeah, but also it wasn't like, I don't think it's like a chalk and cheese thing. I think Graham and myself had the same sense of humour.
I think that synthesis is what produced the chemistry of what makes Father Ted a success.
There is the house, the craggy island.
Oh, come on. There it is.
Wow.
I feel oddly excited.
Yeah, it's great to see it again.
Yeah.
Hello, house. It's bigger than I remember.
This is the Ted house, but it's probably only the Ted house from the outside. Once you get inside, it's very different, I think you'll find.
Let's see who's in.
There's nobody here.
Hello, Cheryl.
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Do you mind if we invade? Just
Yeah.
We'll have a look around.
Lovely to see
Good
you.
to see you again.
Should we go in here?
Do, yeah, come on in for a cup of tea.
What's her name there? Cheryl?
Yeah.
Please, if you're watching this, please leave your contact info. We have a business inquiry email that lots of people in our audience abuse, not going through the proper channels, but you are the person to go who's that email is meant for. So please let us know how we could tour the Father Ted house.
I would love that. Absolutely love that. Man.
That would be
I like that. The first thing she has, can I get it? Can I make you a cup of tea? It's like, yes, Mrs. Doyle. Like,
yeah.
It's like, no tea, no sandwiches.
But will you though?
Yeah,
will you though?
Oh shit.
Kind of life change, really, isn't it, to suddenly be running a tourist attraction?
But there's many people coming, it's used to.
Oh my God, honest to God, there really is. Honestly, I can't lie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is non-stop. Like, you wouldn't walk around in your undies and your bra.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
You know? But I had so many people at the gate, right?
Yeah.
So I said, what would I do?
Yeah.
So I said, oh, maybe I'll make a little tea room. So that's what I've started. So I have people booked in at 5. There, okay.
Hello there.
Hi,
Hello.
David.
Hello.
Who are we?
Hiya.
Hello.
Are your drivers
Father Ted, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
very
yeah.
good. Super.
We live here all the time. We've never left.
Why did you want to see the house?
Oh my God, that's so cool.
That is very cool.
If they still do that, please leave the contact info down below, or Miss Cheryl, please hit our email that I already talked about in the last pause.
Yeah, I feel like their excitement is so underwhelming. Like
I would be jumping, man.
I would be like, holy shit! Like what? Like you're the reason I'm even effing here in this strange house.
Yeah. Like,
They're like,
come on.
They're like, all right.
They only
cool.
did the thing of writing the whole series. Like,
Yeah.
give them some props.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, man.
House.
The kids just, you know, they've seen on telly, I suppose it's the
I
same
don't
as...
watch it. I don't get it.
Good for you. You're not supposed to get it.
I just ignored it. You know?
What did you say?
There she is now. There she is now. Come on, let's just walk
I'm gonna
over
ask
here.
her why she doesn't like
Let's walk over here.
I didn't get it.
Like, what kind of problem
Fuck
she
you.
likes.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to get it.
I love that. I love that. Kids, man, brutally honest.
They say the damnedest things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You're here just to see the house? Yeah. Right. Where are you all from? Australia. Australia, really? Wow.
The production company definitely didn't fly you over, especially. Just to fool us.
Absolute flake.
Just to make us look good.
See that little girl? She doesn't like the show.
She rails against it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what to do. Revenge.
All right, part 3.
It was filmed in 94, I think, the series I did. But it wasn't probably till 98, 99 when people sort of started recognising me, kind of Father Stone, you know.
Oh, boring priest.
Ardle's famed thing, isn't it?
He worships your father.
Really?
He did this one for you.
The one I was allegedly did of myself and Father Ted. Encapsulating my obsession with him, I think. It's very hard to know what to expect about an audition, but I mean, I could see from the script that it suited me perfectly because I mean, I'm not a sort of a versatile actor.
I'm having a bath.
It's just that I wanted to go to the toilet.
Oh. Right, go ahead.
Well, I thought at first I had to take my underpants off as well, so I was a bit uneasy about that. But because I didn't know about sort of how shooting cameras, how they could sort of fake it that you didn't actually take your underpants off as well. I remember the producer Jeffrey Perkins saying he thought it was going to be huge.
And the winners are Jeffrey Perkins,
Declan Lowney,
Graham Linehan,
and Arthur Matthews
for Father Ted.
Well, first you see Jeffrey Perkins there, the producer of the show. The two writers are Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews. And the director is Declan Lowney.
Can't talk about Father Ted without talking about Jeffrey. He's the one who found this house. I always think Jeffrey's the heart of the show. Yeah. You know, if there's a kind of warmth and a kind of compassion and a sweetness to the show, then Jeffrey's the man responsible.
I don't think Ted would have happened without Jeffrey, because I don't think the guys would have got the crack at it. It was a mock documentary they'd written as a one-off, and there was no, that wasn't going to be commissioned by anybody. And Jeffrey felt sitcom was the way to go with this. Let's dramatise it. So as far as I know, that was the thrust of Jeffrey's approach to it.
He just gave me such confidence, to try things and to do stuff during the rehearsal and on the nights, on the recording nights. He'd just have a little word in your ear, or he'd kind of overrule the director sometimes, and he'd just kind of go, no, just let him do what he's doing, So, and like for me, who didn't know what I was doing, frankly, this was great. This was such a boost to the confidence that someone of his stature took such an interest and made such an investment in me.
But he also, recognised in Graham and Arthur that there was something very valuable and precious there, and he protected that, and gave them their head as much as they needed to, and then reined him in when he felt he had to. But I thought that was a perfect marriage.
Yeah. What's funny? God. What's funny is Father Dougal sitting with a nun and pausing for a very, very long time, and then turning to her and saying, "So then you're a nun." Graham taught me that. That's funny.
It's surreal. It's an extraordinary experience, really, to be back in the territory. I haven't been back in the country, this kind of countryside since, and it's very special. It's a very different kind of countryside, you know.
I'm kind of hoping to see it for the first time, because like when you're doing a show like Father Ted at the time, it's also intense. You leave very early in the morning and you get home very late at night. You're working quite hard while you're there.
It's true.
So I actually don't remember the landscape at all.
I'd say it's probably a Georgian design.
Oh, there it is now.
There you go. There you go.
No, you.
It's so weird seeing, Frank Kelly, the actor,
Yeah.
as father outside of, Father Jack, because it's so different. Like,
so different.
He seems like such a gentleman.
Yeah.
And, such a nice person, whereas his character was not.
What a great actor. Just that, just what a great actor, because he has protected himself completely. You can't be typecast, because my God, if you can pull that off, he looks like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Completely. And that's what he needed to not get typecast as Father Jack.
I'm just going to assume that he had a much longer resume as an actor.
Yeah.
I feel like up in age like that, unless he started really late, like Liam Neeson or Samuel L. Jackson, it strikes me as the type that might have like a theater background or something like that.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. Because usually you get into, if you're in the game at an older or more older age, more seasoned age, you probably have a lot of theater background.
Yeah. Like that's like the local musician equivalent for actors.
Yeah.
You do expect a statue there in the gateway.
You do, don't you?
You do expect to see Dermot getting into the car.
Yeah. We'll get out.
Have a look anyway.
No. Oh my God. Look at it.
Yes, the statue's gone, of course.
It's been quite some time.
Oh man.
It just seems very barren without loads of priests swarming around a hot water dispenser.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. I have the happiest memories of scenes out there near the wall taking place, people chasing each other and beating each other and running around the side of the house.
I remember kicking the ball around with Father Demo.
That's right, around the side
That's one of the highlights of my life.
It's one of your best sporting achievements,
I think so, yeah.
Après vous.
Thank you. Hello.
My goodness.
Hiya. Hey, how's it going? Hello.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Hello.
It's lovely to see you.
How are you? No, we didn't. How are you? How you going? How you going?
Here we go.
Will you have a cup of tea?
Well,
I go on. Take a bun then.
Lovely. Are these your own buns?
There you are.
Did either of you feel the roles were, too associated with you? Did it become a bit of a pain at times?
Yeah, both of them.
So,
Well, the early hysteria was quite hard to take, yes, but it settled down then. People became more used to the show, and they weren't as invasive,
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit irritating that people don't appreciate my genius in other areas, and that they purely see you in terms of this, character. But, ultimately, it's flattering.
There are worse things that could happen in life.
Exactly.
Pauline used to say that she didn't know whether to be cheered up or annoyed when people recognised her as Mrs. Doyle, So I guess she's still wrestling with that.
I want to be associated with Dougal forever, so that's why I'm here.
More ice?
The cold baths were dreadful, but they paled into insignificance compared to being dragged along by the tractor. And of course, that was a minor inconvenience compared to the Crazy Golf with Father Stone.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, that day, that was a near-death experience.
What about when the sewage truck opened on top?
Well, I was coming to that. That was horrendous.
You were very
that
cross
was so
that
horrendous.
day. You and Dermot were very cross.
Well, and Dermot particularly. Yeah, no, absolutely. That was so painful. It was like, you know, where your mind goes blank because of, you know, your head has just been frozen by a jet of freezing cold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I feel bad because we were being kind of smart arses there because Dermot had said the previous series, well, you do to me next time, cover me in slurry. And we said, oh yeah, brilliant idea. We went and we wrote it. And I felt bad about that.
To someone's house once. You were marooned.
Yeah, I had no choice. It was either, you know, death or I called at the door of the farmhouse and I said, please, can I have a bath? And they gave me a bath. It's a friend of Pat and Cheryl.
Right.
And he said that they've kept the bar of soap.
Oh my God. Those last two little bits there.
Dude.
Oh man. Like that's why you don't say stuff like that to your writers or your directors, because they'll do it.
Oh,
like,
that's terrifying.
It's like Impractical Jokers. It's like you don't mention bad stuff and or else it'll become a challenge or a punishment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I didn't want to say it in the last part, but I think I will. You know, when Ardle was asked, is he annoyed being recognized as Father Dougal? And he was like, I related to his response a lot. The fact that there's 6 other channels underneath in the description here that the both of us do, and y'all still won't recognize our genius in all 6 of those channels is baffling.
Yeah,
baffling.
I absolutely love the fact that he doesn't understand that he is forever Dougal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like I can see how it can be annoying, but it's a badge of honor, man.
It is. Yeah.
It's hey, you are part of one of the most iconic TV shows, man. That is who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
It's unfortunate, but that's your cross.
Yeah, he is forever Dougal, and you know, you shouldn't be crying too much about it. I mean, he probably cries with wiping off 100-pound notes, you know, with that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Which I just want to clarify. I personally am flattered with this whole ETS thing. I mean, I don't proudly display that thing for no reason.
What is that? I barely see that in the background.
I don't know what that is. I'm just talking out my ass right now.
What an odd mirror.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let me check. Yeah. All right, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
If you want to meet priests your own age, listen in on the latest gossip, or simply have a bit of a laugh, then call Priest Chatback and speak to priests you want to know.
The anti-church thing that people say it has, that was never there for me, and I don't think it was ever there for the guys. But I knew when I read it that I identified with it. I got it. It struck a chord. You know, I remember priests who would come and visit sometimes on a Sunday and would sit in your parlour for 4 or 5 hours drinking tea. I mean, I would have to keep doing the tea thing over and over again. You know, it was in our psyche. We knew about that stuff.
I just found it easy to inhabit him. I just liked him so much. I thought I really have to try and bring this man in all his horribleness to the public. I did have the experience of going to the Christian Brothers for my education, for want of a better word. And there I met some very strange people indeed.
You address me by my proper title, you little bollocks!
I just remember those voices and those faces and those the kind of sadistic, pitiless way they made fun of me. And the voice that eventually became Bishop Brennan, that's where it came from. A great, I guess, sense of getting my own back.
Don't try my patience, Grilly! You kicked me up the ass! Try to deny it, and I will have you fed to the dogs!
I always felt it in some way it put a human face in the church. It humanized these people. You know, monstrous as and all as some of them are, as, you know, Father Jack is an outrageous creation. But, like, it humanized Father Ted is so downtrodden. He's always so hard-pressed. I mean, you know, but he's a decent guy at the end of the day.
He doesn't want to be bothered. He just wants to kind of...
It's an easy life with a bit of kind of materialistic treats every now and then.
Yeah. and he's just totally non-spiritual.
So as we were writing, we used to say, oh, poor Ted.
Yeah, we used to say that all the time. We would be laughing, and then we just pause and we go, poor Ted.
Oh, bollocks.
Dougal and Ted are kind of Dumb and Dumber, I think. You know, they're Laurel and Hardy. They're a classic double act. You can't really imagine one without the other, I don't think. Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, you know, no matter how far back you go in literature, you're going to find these two together.
Down with this sort of thing.
Careful now.
Anyway, you go up to bed. I'll be up in a minute.
All right. Good night, lads.
You'll be up in a minute? Yes, we sleep together. Anyway, who else do you know?
I forgot that one.
My name is Maurice O'Donoghue, and I played Father Dick Byrne. He was the evil side of Father Ted, slimy sort of side of him.
Dick Byrne was there. One of his roles as a character was to bring out Ted's incredibly childish side.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
I'm sure we'd do just as well as you would. No, you wouldn't. Yes, we 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 would. Yes, we would. Yes, we would. No, you wouldn't times 1,000. Yes, jinx, no comebacks.
But I subsequently heard, the lads mentioned it to me, and my agent said that it was a close run thing between myself and Dermot.
Definitely, he was our second choice. That's why Craggy Rugged Island existed, because they were our second choices for everybody.
All I can say is, thank God Dermot got it, because he's quintessentially Father Ted.
Oh yeah, it's Dougal then. Everybody wanted to be in Father Ted. And there was a possibility of getting it, and like a real possibility as a comedian to get a part, because the characters that were written were sometimes suited to comedians. Yeah, which one do you prefer, Oasis or Blur? Like, for example, the character of Father Damo, I played it over the top, to be honest. It's not like subtle acting or anything like that a proper actor would do.
You'll be in a minute!
I wonder, are there any Irish comics who weren't in Father Ted? How badly must they feel? Because you do feel in the end they gave everyone a go.
There was a touch of paranoia in the air about, did you get the call? Did you get the call? No, I haven't heard anything of that, you know. And then, wondering would you get an audition and then would you get the part? And there was a bit of paranoia. One or two people were left out and I think are scarred as a result. I smell wee. Where's that from? It's this one here. This one smells a wee. I could win an Oscar and people would still shout, oh my love, I've no willy. I love cake. Where's the jam? I smell wee. Those lines are just going to follow me to my grave.
You bastard! Slag!
Hello, Mary.
Hello, Father.
Hello, Father.
Hello, John.
Mary was just washing my hair. She has such lovely soft hands.
I remember that being quite challenging, actually, the fact that you're being absolutely spiteful and horrible and violent with each other, and then suddenly you had to pretend to be benign and loving. I found that technically just really, really hard.
John and Mary was about the thing in Ireland that seemed to be very common, which was pretending everything's fine in front of a priest. When, and pretending that marriage is just this wonderful, rosy thing.
Keeping up appearances.
Shut up, you bitch!
They're a lovely couple though, aren't they? John and Mary.
They are all right.
It was great debate.
Yes, that's something that's been echoed in the comments a lot, is how John and Mary, and like we didn't really get this in the Patreon days, John and Mary were definitely a example of a couple that keeps up appearances because of the whole divorce thing in Ireland.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. That was funny though. It's like one of my favorite parts of the whole series.
It was always like the perfect, it was when they got shown, when their bits were coming up, it was always the perfect timing for them.
Oh yeah.
Because it either broke, like like the series was never like stagnant, but it always added it revitalized the movement of the episode.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was a good comic relief.
Yes, exactly.
Not to say not everybody else was funny, but it was like over the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
For that one brief second, you're looking at the marital issues, not the priest, the father issues within the fatherhood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Priesthood, not the fatherhood. The fuck am I talking about? Yeah.
That's your job. That's not. Apparently, they can't have that job unless
Yeah,
they leave the
cannot.
priesthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About, is this absolutely mad or is this funny? And I thought, no, this is going to work.
I went on Right to Reply and argued against a second generation woman from Irish woman from Manchester, who was telling me in a Mancunian accent that I was being anti-Irish.
Why is it racist? Why is it stereotypical?
Right. The word Irish is just synonymous with ridiculous, stupid, idiotic. I want my children to grow up proud of where they've come from and their ancestors.
I do too. I want a country that's not so self-conscious and so intimidated by other countries that they can't have comedy programs about themselves, that they can't make films about themselves. And I think to be honest, I think it's quite a ridiculous argument. But the initial response was just knee-jerk. It was fear of being made to look stupid. And we were kind of, our argument was, if you deny us the chance to look stupid like everybody else is able to look stupid, then you deny Irish actors and Irish comedians from the chance of being in something funny.
As an Irish person, I never felt uncomfortable watching it. I never felt, it's all the things, there are things you'd watch in Ireland maybe, and you'd kind of think that's very funny. I hope nobody English ever sees it. But Father Ted wasn't like that. You were quite happy to sit with English people and watch that, because it was sweet and funny and ridiculous, but not in a kind of cruel or malicious way.
Sit down there, and we'll have a bit of an old song. Yes, that's another bit. Is like going back to learning how beloved it was in Ireland, and but then again, the knee-jerk reaction was like, oh, this will make Irish people look dumb. Like both British and American shows make our people look dumb all the time.
Yeah,
like
they make fun of themselves all the time. I think there's you gotta know when to make fun of yourself. You have to. If not, you take yourself too seriously. It doesn't end well.
Yeah, no. Like why would that be such a? It makes me appreciate that Father Ted exists for the people of Ireland to have permission to be, silly.
Yep.
Yeah.
What can we sing? Will you sing one, Ted?
No, I won't.
Yeah, you will. You have a lovely voice. Very like Celine Dion.
It's one of those sitcoms that just plays again and again and again, and every time it plays, it's a new audience. When I was just back in my school, and these kids are 12 and 13, and they're going, "Oh, we love you in Father Ted." I was like, "You weren't born." Like for them, it must be like watching an old black and white film. That old man was in Father Ted.
Man, oh man.
Just now completely amalgamated into the whole feel of the show, and it's just great. Yeah. To be asked to do it, I didn't go, oh my God, all my Christmases have come at once. I just thought, yeah, I can do that. I can knock that off, because I had a terrible ego, and I was super confident about everything.
You know, it's only later in life when you realise you can't do everything. My lovely horse, running through the fields. Where are you going with your fetlocks blowing in the wind?
We want to stay away from the whole area of being in love with the horse.
A platonic relationship with the horse.
Platonic.
Oh man.
Polish your hooves every single day and bring you to the horse dentist.
My Lovely Horse is based on a video by the Eurovision entry for 1970 something.
75, I think.
75.
That's what friends.
And it was the Swarbrick brothers. Maybe it was because there were two of them that it struck us as a good model for the My Lovely Horse video. We would have copied it shot for shot if we could have. I think they called them lifestyle videos. Yeah. And what I love about it is that the lifestyle depicted is actually not really that great.
Some mildly sexist undertone.
We copied that completely. Another bit where he's teaching the girl how to play golf.
It fits into Ted's fantasy of what, you know, he's always wanted to, you know, get into show business or go to Las Vegas.
It was very important to us to get a shot of them in a swimming pool with totally dry hair and
a couple of chicks.
Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting to me because I've done some deep diving on Eurovision. Like that fact that they copied that like almost verbatim. Like I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like, way to troll. Like, I love that, man. It's like, hell yeah. No, or not even troll. It's pay homage to this. You know, it's like, all right, cool. We see what you're doing, and I appreciate it.
The line between, you know, taking the piss at it and honoring it is quite thin. So
very.
It's just with Eurovision in general, that's how it is.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm absolutely shocked about is my total lack of interest at that age in incredible beauty. Well, yeah, but not just nature, but breathtaking nature. I was just so into the show and so interested. I just never looked around and saw how gorgeous it was, you know? Still, it's crazy.
Action.
Much better views, you know. The location stuff on TED was like a holiday before we really made the show, in a sense. You know, we'd have this, although no, that's not even true. It was a very, very hard slog doing all the location stuff, but we'd do that and then we'd bring all the footage back to England and the rest of it would be a 6 to 8 to 10 week stay in London studios shooting the show. We're going into Studio 2 where we film the show, I believe.
God, it's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more...
Of course, all the here would be seats from here way back, I suppose.
I mean, the thing about studio sitcoms is they're not easy to make. They're hard. They're really hard. They're done under incredible pressure. So there's no reason to do them. There's no good reason to do them except that I think they lead to, in the style of sitcoms we're doing, funnier sitcoms, you know? I mean, I as Arthur says, if Father Ted was done without an audience, it would be a cold, miserable
really
affair,
flat.
you know?
It was always a bit of a thrill going into the studio, seeing our sets, which had become a second home. You know, you were familiar with every item of furniture, and so you liked being there.
These guys had really thought everything through very clearly. It all worked very well. See, it's a great credit to them that we didn't have to do everything 13 times.
The thing that was interesting about doing TED and distinguished it from every other program I've ever done is that usually when you're back here and the scene has stopped filming, you hear the voice of the warm-up man doing warm-up.
That's true.
Warm-up.
Yeah.
But on TED, you heard the voice of Dermot, dude, who's basically, every time they yell cut, would just walk straight out to the audience and start doing his routine, you know. And he used to drive me mental, you know, because I was like, concentrate on the script.
Fuck, I want you.
It very much had the atmosphere of a holiday camp. I mean, I think there was a giddiness about it that I haven't really witnessed since in anything I've done. And I think it was due to the fact that we were all Irish, we were all abroad. You know, it was very good-humoured.
This is the stars dressing room.
I wonder.
You feeling nervous?
No.
No.
No. Rushing from the court.
I think by the time Series 3 came around, I fully respected the writers' decision not to write anymore because they felt they had exhausted it. And I think we all felt that.
We did think that's it, you know. We didn't think we could do it again. We thought we'd be repeating ourselves, and we thought we were really running out. We were really running out of things for Jack to do, and we were running out of ways for Dougal to be stupid.
Great news. I've been asked to go and work in America.
Really? As what? The story of the last episode as well. I mean, it's kind of moving and it's kind of poignant anyway. You know, it is a bizarre story. It's bizarre what happened.
You wouldn't leave me behind, would you?
The end of the last bit of recording, symbolically, Ardal and Frank and Dermot threw their colours into the audience, I think.
You know, we kind of had a rap party, and it was all lovely. And then, I don't know, the next morning, got a call from Dermot's assistant John to say that, you know, he died of a heart attack the night before at a dinner party. It was kind of utterly shocking for about a minute, and then, you know, then you think back and you think, well, God, you know, he didn't look well. And, you know, my father, who was a medical doctor, amongst other things, had said to me at the recording that Dermot didn't look well. You know.
Oh. It was quite traumatic because we'd been a very happy, busy, you know, company, and suddenly this guy was dead.
The morning I heard Dermot died, I was very upset and I cried and stuff. But then we just stayed in shock for like, I don't know. I'm still in shock about it.
Oh yeah, Ted, you're here to stay with me and Mrs. Doyle and Father Jack forever and ever 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 and ever.
And take everything away.
Oh,
I go on, Father. Have a cup. Just a little cup. Just a drop.
It's twice as big. Let's go. Could take a while, Dougal.
Oh, Ted.
Rain. Can we hold the rain? Thank you. Can we took the rain off our arses? You bastards.
Look out, please. Hold your positions.
Night, Dougal. Night, Ted.
But my memory of Dermot here in this house is, and there's a room there, and there was a big fire, and there was a big armchair, and huge fire, and Dermot's sitting there, and being Dermot. And
we always said Ted was our favourite character because he was the most real. He had the most. He had the most sides to him, the most depth.
The one you empathise.
And I think he sometimes thought that we were giving you all the gags, but we weren't. We were, you know. And I don't.
No.
And Dermot.
Well, he was like, you know, he was a nervy, insecure man, and he you know, and with poor discipline. But that's not to take away from you know what a big character he was. I mean, he was a big and generous-hearted character in lots of ways.
He was very grateful and very pleased he got the opportunity in Britain because of all his frustrations in Ireland, you know. But then yeah, he definitely wanted to move on and do, I think, more satirical stuff.
Well, I
particularly
worked with him
valuable.
on other things, and he wasn't the easiest person in the world to work with, but he was a dream to work with Father Ted. So it must have created some sense of security in him, you know?
Patrick and Cheryl told us about an 11-year-old girl who said, "I wish I could stay here forever." It doesn't even look the same on the inside. Just the very fact that it's the Ted house just made this kid, you know, hugely happy, and that kind of got to me, because I just thought, you know, the show does have a magic that you know, that we didn't really realise we were involved. We didn't really realise it would have this kind of magic that's been lasting through different generations. And
yeah, people, you don't think of it when you're writing. You know, you just want to make things funny, and then
we were just trying to be funny, you know.
Yeah, after then years pass and people have a fondness for it, so that's very.
People who weren't born when we wrote it, you know, and that means a lot.
Oh man.
My parochial house. See you in another 10 years, maybe.
This was a great documentary. Automatic 4, 5, 6 thumbs up for
That's
that one.
awesome, man.
Yeah,
it feels good.
Like,
it feels good.
It's a feel good one for sure. Like, it's good wrap up of our Father Ted journey here. I'd say
it's something so crazy to me how something that lasted really only like 3 years, has withstood the test of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like they found that sweet point of not overstaying their welcome.
Yeah.
And also how every episode is almost like a standalone episode. It's a very hospitable place for a new viewer. You can just jump into Father Ted at any episode and have a laugh.
Right. Aside from the last two that are like towards the end of the series, those two you need to see together. But those two alone you could go into, just like every other episode you could go into and not need a lot of context.
Yep. And that's why, man, it was a top tier show, man. And I feel very grateful to have discovered it. And,
and been able to share it with our audience.
Yeah.
You know, I see comments all the time why they like watching these stuff. It's like they get to rediscover it all over again. Like, they don't get the feeling of discovering it the first time except through us. So for that,
it's crazy,
that's why we keep doing what we do.
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. There's somewhere around to subscribe and watch another video. Wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your butt, blow your nose, embrace the suck.
Unplug and do something epic, guys.
Like drinking.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Later.
Fellas, we could be that mistake. Let's do this.